All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. It is over for James Comey, the known liar, the man that's been telling lies for years and has finally caught up to him. And of course, you already know the left is already out trying to protect him, trying to make it seem like, oh, this right here was politically motivated. Donald Trump just going after him for no reason. Do they remember what James Comey tried to do to President Trump? The man spied on President Trump's campaign, lied multiple times. Why he didn't go after Hillary Clinton? Oh, yeah, we all know why. So now we get some breaking news, said that James Comey officially indicted for perjury and obstruction of justice, facing 10 years in prison. And not only that, they said he's supposed to be arrested tomorrow. So that right there is good news to our ears. And after that, go ahead and get Letitia James and the rest of them. All these liars, John Bolton, all of them need to be in prison. So like I said, y'all please hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you there. Just like my most recent videos, man, y'all been watching at least 15. A lot of y'all been watching the entire video. And I really, really appreciate it because it definitely helps get the message out there and helps get President Trump's message out there. So I appreciate everybody that stays to the end and come in and hit that like button. Very important. Please hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button. It helps a lot as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this so I can get y'all up to the news. So before we get to what President Trump said about James Comey, you can see right here by Nick Sorter. He said President Trump speaks on if he's worried a Democrat might retaliate against him or his FBI director if they take power again. But we got to realize, look what they did to President Trump. Look at all the people they went after around President Trump when they was in office. Here's the thing. It ain't no retaliation. It's justice. It's like these people actually committed crimes and used their position to try to go after President Trump and throw this man in prison. That's what they tried to do. So listen to what President Trump said right here about if he worried about the Democrats retaliating.
President Trump, are you worried now that the next time there's a Democratic president, they will indict your FBI director or people in your administration?
That's what they tried to do, right? They did it with me for 4 years. They went after me. They went after me for 4 years, and that doesn't include the 4 great years that we had in the White House. So when I ran it from 2016 when we won, it began before I got to office. You know that. Wait a minute. Before I came to office, I started hearing rumors about Russia. I said, what the hell do I have to do with Russia? Nothing. And then it got worse and worse, and some of the fakers, not you, but some of the fake news picked it up and they loved it. And we went through a long time with that. And despite that, we had a great first term.
And he's exactly right. They went out there, and we seen what Letitia James did. She ran on saying, I'm going to get President Trump. And like I said, she's next. So we're going to keep it going. So here go Nick Sorter again, say Trump, pretty much now he's speaking on James Comey indictment. It's a pretty easy case. He lied. But let's listen to what President Trump said in the entirely.
Now that James Comey has been indicted, who is the next person on your list in this retribution?
It's not a list.
Now you see what that reporter just said? Who's next on your list for retribution? See how they putting it? It ain't no retribution. These people actually committed crimes. I see. That's what them reporters try to do. They try to hurry up with that quick talk to get President Trump to go ahead and speak on it without saying that. Let's go.
But I think there'll be others. I mean, they're corrupt. These were corrupt, radical left Democrats. Because Comey essentially was he's worse than a Democrat. I would say the Democrats are better than Comey. But no, there'll be others. Look, that's my opinion. They weaponized the Justice Department like nobody in history. What they've done is terrible. And so I hope there are others, because you can't let this happen to a country.
And will you appoint a permanent U.S. attorney to try this case? Lindsey Halligan has never tried a case.
Well, we'll see, but it's a pretty easy case because, look, he lied. You saw my truth today. He lied. It was yes, no. He didn't say, well, in my opinion, he didn't do a lot of things that maybe he should have, but I don't think he could because he lied. That was a very important question that he was asked. And he wanted to be specific, but he didn't. The only thing that happened to him, he didn't think he'd get caught.
Yep. Didn't think he'd get caught.
That he gave, that was a very important answer. And it was for him, it was a very good answer if he didn't get caught. But he got caught lying to Congress.
How is this not President Trump, are you worried now that the next time there's a Democratic president, they will indict your FBI director or people in your administration?
That's what they tried to do, right? They did it with me. For 4 years, they went after me. They went after me for 4 years, and that doesn't include the 4 great years that we had in the White House. So when I ran it from, 2016, when we won, it began before I got to office. You know that. Wait a minute. Before I came to office, I started hearing rumors about Russia. I said, what the hell do I have to do with Russia? Nothing. And then it got worse and worse, and some of the fake news, not you, but some of the fake news picked it up and they loved it. And we went through a long time with that. And despite that, we had a great first term.
Because that's how it went, where they made you go and take a mugshot. Is this more about justice or is it about revenge?
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about justice. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. And Comey was one of the people. He wasn't the biggest, but he's a dirty cop. He's always been a dirty cop. Everybody knew it. And it's, as far as the case is concerned, he gave an answer. It was a strong answer. He then verified it a couple of times because that was a very important answer. If he would have equivocated, if he would have been like a little bit less sure, that would have been very bad for him. So he gave an answer. The only problem is for him, he didn't think he'd be caught, and he got caught, Peter.
And that's what it was. He didn't think he'd get caught because you know why he thought that? Because he thought it was going to be another Democrat judge. He thought maybe a Kamala Harris was going to get elected and he was just going to continue to get away with it. So that right there is exactly what happened.
Democrats will say this is so-called retribution that they have been warning about since Trump took back the White House. Trump will tell the American people he's just upholding the rule of law. Again, that rule of law thing keeps coming back. For example, who else has used rule of law before? Well, it is the exact same thing James Comey said when Donald Trump was indicted back in 2023. June 9th, 2023. James Comey, at the time, felt the need to speak, be heard on the Trump indictment. And he tweeted out, "Today is a good day for the rule of law." If we have to explain the irony, it's not actually irony.
What do you expect? Do you foresee prison time for James Comey?
I do foresee a conviction here. It will be tough because this is still sort of in a blue area in Alexandria, Virginia, that sort of jury pool. I wonder if he'll try to move it out of the Eastern District of Virginia. So I don't know. They'll play a lot of games. He's got a very good attorney, Patrick Fitzgerald. They know the system, those two, better than anyone. So, but I do think that it's pretty obvious. He will at least get a conviction on that false statement because we know that it's false. And we know that James Comey is a liar, an inveterate liar, and he has lied under oath, just like so many of his associates. And Benny, I think that's why this indictment is so gratifying. We are so frustrated at watching these bad actors get away with crimes such as perjury when others did not. And like Flynn will speak to this better than anyone else.
Yes.
So it is what really is making me laugh now, Benny, is the mainstream media, people like Fusion Ken Deladian at NBC News, who is just absolutely melting down that the DOJ is being weaponized and politicized by the president to target his political enemies. This is the guy who was cheering Special Counsel Jackson. It's 2 criminal indictments, bogus indictments against the president and his associates, Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, everyone who was hauled before that grand jury in Washington, D.C. 1,600 Trump supporters who protested Joe Biden's election on January 6th. And to see the media now so dishonestly claim that this is unprecedented. We even saw that headline in the Wall Street Journal this week. This is unprecedented, a president using his DOJ this way. So I think the outcry, again, the deceptive spin by the media, I think we should all get a good chuckle out of that too, because they can't believe or buy their own spin, right? They can't really think that we missed the last 4, 6, 8, 10 years of what the DOJ and FBI tried to do to the president and the MAGA movement. So I think that's a little extra icing on the cake for us. So
check this out right here. By Nick Shaw, he said, if James Comey doesn't go to prison, our country is in big trouble. And you can see President Trump had posted this. He said, whether you like corrupt James Comey or not, and I can't imagine too many people liking him, he lied. It is not a complex lie. It's a very simple but important one. There is no way he can explain his way out of it. He is a dirty cop and always has been. But when he would just assign a crooked Joe Biden appointed judge, so he's off to a very good start. Nevertheless, words are words, and he wasn't hedging or in dispute. He was very positive. There was no doubt in his mind about what he said or meant by saying it. He left himself zero margin of error on a big and important answer to a question. He just got unexpectedly caught. James Dirty Cop Comey was a destroyer of lies. He knew exactly what he was saying, and that it was a very serious and far-reaching lie for which a very big price must be paid. President Donald J. Trump. And like I said, he's exactly right. And we already know James Comey ain't nothing but a liar. We know he ain't nothing but a liar. Try to set up President Trump, help push the Russia crap. We know exactly what this man did. And by Nick Toy say, just then, other government officials are in danger of being indictment in the coming weeks following Comey's arrest, per John Solomon.
I think other government officials are in danger of being indicted in the coming weeks, some in the FBI, some in other parts of the government. This is the beginning of a large accountability roundup in government. And I think what's really remarkable, most of my career I've spent uncovering FBI cover-ups. The FBI has a long history of misleading Congress. Comey falls into that. But the evidence against Comey tonight comes from the FBI and its new director, Kash Patel, who promised radical transparency, and he actually provides the key piece of evidence that leads to this indictment. If you're a member of Congress and you've been tired of being lied to by the FBI, tonight's the first time the FBI actually did something about it. They turned in their own man tonight. I think that's an extraordinary part of this story.
Yeah, we're going to have a really deep dive into all of this tomorrow, and hopefully all of you.
And you heard what he said. So like I said, a lot of people is not playing around. They said those who doubted Dan Bongino are really eating their words tonight.
Let me ask you about, are you going to be looking into, Cash and Pam, any potential collusion between the DOJ, Letitia James, the novel legal theory of Alvin Bragg or Nathan Wade or Fonnie Willis and the DOJ? Is that something? Has anything come up? Is there any way to determine whether or not evidence was destroyed in any of these cases?
Well, there's always a way to determine that. I don't want to comment on that specific case right now for a reason. I don't want to get ahead of the Department of Justice on that. But I want to say this. You know, the FBI obviously has the public corruption portfolio. And yes, if you are a corrupt politician out there, if you are engaged in behavior, you know what you're doing.
And he definitely need to get Letitia James. Think about it. Like I said, this woman has a career of going out there saying, I'm going to get President Trump. Like I said before, laughing in courtrooms, smirking behind him. Used that corrupt judge in Gore run. And I think where she won with $500,000 off of President Trump. So it's just a lot that this woman did. So Letitia James definitely needs to be next.
We're going to find you. I promise. No one is going to get off. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. You know what, Sean? I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. Well, maybe outside of you and a couple of. I don't care. I didn't come here for the money. I didn't come here to make. I know.
No, you didn't go there for the money. I can tell people that for sure. No, I didn't come here to make friends. I don't give a damn about friends. I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. I got my wife. I got you, and I got a small crew of people.
So I don't need any friends. But if
you
you're
want a friend in
politician,
D.C.,
screwing
get a
around,
dog.
We're coming for you.
That'll help.
Yeah, exactly. You want a friend in D.C., right. Go get a Labradoodle like I have, because there are no friends in D.C. You've been doing this, 30 years? There are no friends here.
Salute to Dan Bongino. And like I said, Dan Bongino been doing a good job as well. Now, y'all got to look at this old disgrace. James Comey, here he go crying after his indictment. Look at this right here. So it said, breaking. Disgraced former FBI Director James Comey responds to his indictment, reading an obvious script. Listen to him, y'all.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump.
Oh, God.
But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant. And she's right. But I'm not afraid. And I hope you're not either. I hope...
What you mean you hope they not either? You the one who gonna be sharing a bunk bed. You're gonna be in that orange jumpsuit. So don't be trying to bring nobody else into it yet. But don't worry, Letitia James and all of them gonna be following.
Instead, you are engaged. You are paying attention. And you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it.
Yeah, they did. That's why they got President Trump in office, because we voted, because our country depended on it, because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris destroyed our country. So everybody did vote like their life depended on it. That's why you see President Trump in office, Mr. Comey.
You are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent.
Oh.
So let's have a trial and keep
Look at him.
the faith.
Look at him. Look at him. He said he's innocent. So he pretty much, and here's the thing right here, he's still lying, saying he's innocent. But this man spied on President Trump's campaign and lied multiple times, and still saying he's innocent. James Comey is now expected to surrender to federal authorities tomorrow morning, officially being placed under arrest. It's finally happened. Bring on the perk walk and the mug shot. Yeah, that's what we waiting on. Well, we waiting on that mug shot now. We need that mug shot. That's exactly what we need. Boy, it's just getting it's getting worse and worse for him. They said right here, watch. This lie James Comey told to Congress on September 30th, 2020 is likely the reason Comey was indicted today.
Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, quote, never. He then asked you, quote, have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration? You responded again under oath, no. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave. I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
Oh, shut up. A liar. That's what I'm talking about, just lying. That's all he do. You can see right here, James Comey indictment has been released, signed by U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan. It pretty much say, let me go back. It say Comey is being charged in relation to making false statements under oath to the Senate Judiciary Committee, where on September 3rd, 2020, he lied saying he did not authorize leaks about President Trump to the New York Times. These are felony charges, and he faces over a decade in prison. This should be an open and shut case. And that's what I'm saying. He just sit up here just lying. And you can see these are the papers right here. And then look at it, say, one of Charlie Kirk's wishes came true today. James Comey has been indicted. Congrats, Charlie. Because you see Charlie Kirk had wrote this right here back in 2020. He said, if James Comey should be prosecuted and charged for what he did to General Michael Flynn. And like I said, it's coming true. And right here where President Trump responds to James Comey, he said, one of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey, the former corrupt head of FBI today. He was indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts for various illegal and unlawful acts. He has been so bad for our country for so long and is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nations. Make America great again. And you can see right here that James Comey is now facing up to 15 years in federal prison. My, how the tables have turned. So, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino responds after the grand jury indicts James Comey on 2 felonies. He said, when Director Patel and I took our leadership position in the FBI, we promised the American people accountability. Promises matter. So like I said, a lot of people just getting their input on all of this. And you can check this out right here.
Pretty extraordinary to hear directly from the Attorney General and FBI Director moments after a former FBI Director has been indicted on federal charges. So FBI Director Kash Patel has a lengthier statement than Attorney General Bondi. Patel says, today your FBI took another step in its promise of full accountability. For far too long, previous corrupt leadership and their enablers weaponized federal law enforcement, damaging once proud institutions and severely eroding public trust. Every day we continue to the fight to earn that trust back, and under my leadership, this FBI will confront the problem head on. Nowhere was this politicization of law enforcement more blatant than during the Russiagate hoax, a disgraceful chapter in history we continue to investigate and expose. Everyone, especially those in positions of power, will be held to account, no matter their perch. No one is above the law. So that is a lengthy statement from FBI Director Kash Patel, speaking of his predecessor, not his direct predecessor, that was Christopher Wray, but 2 FBI directors before him.
Thank you for that update, David.
Sure.
Let's bring back in Jonathan Turley.
Now you can see right here, it said breaking AG Bundy on James Comey. She said, no one is above the law. Today's indictment reflects the Department of Justice committed to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case. And like I said, everybody just pretty much talking about it right here.
Breaking right now, tonight, a major update to a story we brought to you earlier in the hour. A grand jury has just handed down an indictment for former FBI Director James Comey. The Justice Department accuses Comey of lying to Congress while under oath back in 2020.
Yep.
Let's bring in David Spunt with all the breaking details. David, what can you tell us?
Well, Jillian, we are waiting to get the actual details of the indictment. We're just told that an indictment has been handed up against the former FBI Director James.
So, and that's what you see right there. So I want to check this one out. I say by Benny Johnson. He said that General Flynn delivers a searing message and warning to James Comey following his indictment.
And given that you are the premier nexus point in this story, your message not to Obama or Brennan, but to directly James Comey today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that James Comey, you're gonna go down in history as a former FBI director who tried to stage a takeover of the United States of America and basically take down a duly elected president of the United States of America. That's what he's going to be known as. He is a evil, treasonous SOB, and he knows it. I don't care how arrogant he can get, because he can get very arrogant, but that's what he is. And it's not just him, but Comey, that's what he is. He really is a person who thinks he can actually do whatever he wants to do because he was in a position to do it.
Yep.
And that's where the American people need to understand. When we have to be very conscious of who it is that we are putting into power inside of our government, state, local, state, and federal, because these are the types of people that are in there now, and Comey is at the nexus of it, and he will be convicted. But let's see if he helps expose some of these other names that you just mentioned.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna see. Is he gonna expose any of these other names? Say liberals have a message for James Comey. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. No one in this country is above the law. You can see all these liberals that said all of this, and I like how they put this right here together, because the Democrats always say nobody is above the law, but when they said that, they was really talking about President Trump. They always try to say nobody's above the law, but they was always pointing at President Trump. So now when you use their own words against them, against James Comey, look how it looked. Governor J.B. Pritzker, no one should be above the law. Amy's Klobuchar in the United States of America, no one's above the law. Letitia James, Harry Sisson, all of them. Look at him. Now, right here, check out what right here, Anna Polona, she had posted this one right here. Say anyone complaining that President Trump is weaponizing the justice system is a joke.
In news reports, that was regarding an FBI investigation. Congresswoman, this is big news. Many of us expected it. I think it's long overdue. But nevertheless, a lot of your colleagues tonight are saying, see, now Trump's weaponizing the Justice Department. You're doing what you accused others of. Your response?
Laura, we've had the opportunity for so long to hold these people accountable, and Congress could have held him accountable, and they chose not to. So I'm glad that the Department of Justice has the backbone to actually bring a 5-year charge, potentially if he's charged with the 18 U.S. Code 1621. I think that that's a statute for perjury. What he did was wrong, and I would argue that what he did is largely also responsible for breaking ties that we have with foreign governments. So this guy's a crook. He's a criminal. He belongs in prison. I will firmly back the administration, and it's time that Congress stop talking about it and actually do it. We're in the majority. We need to act like it and back up the president.
There we go right there. Salute to Anna Paulina Luna. And then right here, this is another one. Like I said, it's just this man does nothing but lie. That's all he did was lie, and he knew he was lying. James Comey is living evidence that you should never try to destroy someone's life with a lie when yours can be destroyed with the truth.
Do you stand by your House testimony of March 20th that there was no surveillance of the Trump campaign that you're aware of?
Correct.
You would know about it if they were, is that correct?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
With respect to the president's tweets about alleged wiretapping directed at him by the prior administration, I have no information that supports those tweets. And we have looked carefully inside the FBI. The Department of Justice has asked me to share with you that the answer is the same for the Department of Justice and all its components. The department has no information that supports those tweets.
So there we go right there, man. Like I said, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this. I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out. James Comey is a liar. He should be in prison. That's exactly where he's going to go. And I can't wait till they get that mug shot because I'm definitely going to bring y'all that mug shot. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you got your notifications turned on. That way you don't miss another video. And like I said, thank you all for watching. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.